The hosts of Bracketology are experts in nothing. They claim no advanced knowledge or profound insights. Instead, they are just three judgmental idiots who really like to bloviate their own opinions whenever given the chance. Take what they have to say with a grain of salt, or not at all. You'll probably be better off that way.
Daniel?
What are we doing?
I thought you said, Matt, you were starting it.
No, I'm starting the recording, you dumb shit.
All right, sorry. So, fellas, all right. We've played a couple of games on here before, and I thought I would bring one that I recently saw and thought was pretty fun.
Swear to God, if you take your pants off, I will drive to your house.
You've tried playing that game before.
Wait. If I take my pants off, you're going to drive over because my pants are off?
Because I have this Cholula bottle that I think you'll enjoy.
All right, well, that didn't go where I was expecting. So let's go to the game.
The Cholula bottle won't either.
All right. So this game, gentlemen, is called Monkey Paw. And it's funny because we were playing video games the other night and actually brought that up. But the point of this game is that each of us are going to make a wish. And if you're familiar with Monkey Paw, the whole point of it is that you make the wish comes true, but something is altered that makes the wish awful, right? So each of us will make a wish, and then it's up to the rest of the group to turn that wish into something terrible. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, who wants to go first?
You.
No.
We need a demonstration.
I don't know. What are there guardrails to the wish itself?
Let's say that we'll go with like the typical genie guardrails. You can't wish for more wishes. You can't wish for
Love.
you know what?
To die.
Yeah.
You can wish for all of those things. Let's just say you can't wish for more wishes.
Okay,
That's the
so
only thing off the table.
we get one wish,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets twisted. All right.
Yes. And I'd also throw a caveat out that you can't wish for something that like destroys the game. Like I wish to know what all the wishes would turn into. You know what I mean? Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yeah.
I mean, if you only have one wish, then that would be kind of pointless anyway,
Yep.
wouldn't it?
I know you assholes. I'm just trying to cover all the bases.
All right. Scott, do you have a wish yet?
No, I was too busy trying to understand the rules. Let's see.
I wish to have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life.
Okay. Your wish is granted. You win the lottery. You go to cash in the lottery ticket and die in a car wreck on your way to cash in the lottery.
That's
I was
not.
gonna say, no. You don't even have to go to all those steps. You have currently enough money to live for the rest of your life comfortably. When you're uncomfortable, the moment you become uncomfortable, you die. You're not getting any more money. You already have the money. You've now changed the length of your life.
I don't like this.
It's the whole
That's
point.
the point.
Yeah. All right, Scootimus.
I wish for the Tennessee Titans to win the 2024 Super Bowl at the conclusion of this season.
Okay, the Tennessee Titans jet crashes and burns, and they decide to cancel the rest of the football season and posthumously give the Super Bowl championship to the Tennessee Titans.
Holy shit.
Look, y'all want to get dark.
I was going to say that every other team's bus and plane starts crashing, so there's the ultimate asterisk next to the Titans championship.
They were the only ones left.
Did you know that NFL has like doomsday plans in place for what happens if teams were to have that issue?
I did not know that.
there are certain teams that won't let certain players travel together. Like, I would not be surprised if like Kansas City did not let like Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes like on the same bus or on the same airplane or something like that. They take steps to prevent things like that, but they also have plans in place for like what happens if key players are lost and how the league has to respond to it, up to including in full teams. It's crazy.
Kind of like the same rules that the Browns have with letting Deshaun Watson travel with any females.
It's terrible. You're terrible. You should be ashamed.
They're the only team allowed where they're not in trouble for not having any females on any staff anywhere.
Okay.
All right, John, what's your wish?
My wish would be, and I will describe it in two forms to accommodate both the young and old listeners, but my wish would be to have essentially a Mary Poppins bag or a Hermione's bag where I can just kind of reach in and have whatever I need at any given moment. If I'm hungry, I can reach in and have a sandwich. If I go to a store, I can reach in and pull out the exact change and anything else.
A Felix the Cat bag, one might say. You know,
Sure.
talk obscure references. You don't see Felix
don't
the
even
Cat
get
had a
that
bag
one.
like that. Y'all know? Dan, do you know Felix the Cat?
We know who Felix
Yes,
the Cat
I know
is.
Okay.
Sorry, we don't know his
Are you
accessories.
familiar with the bag? He had a bag like this that he could reach into and pull out. Anyway, okay. How do we monkey paw that?
So my monkey paw is that every time you reach into the bag, you're actually stealing those items from other people, and you get found out by the police. They locate you and arrest you
I like that.
for grand larceny.
See, I almost think that it would be instead of, yes, the bag has those things in it, but it's because every time you walk by somebody, it's constantly like sucking in different things to like make a stockpile. So not only are you stealing from them, it is very clear that you're stealing from them because things are just being sucked into a bag you're carrying.
Like visually, they can see it happen.
Yeah.
It would just get pulled and put in
Yeah.
the bag.
There's just
I
a
feel
baby just goes floating by.
I feel like my life would then just become like existing in an Elder Scrolls game every time I walk into a new place, and security and the police are always after me.
I like the idea though of like you walk into a store and you go to pay for something and it's like, oh, $5.32, and you reach into the bag and then just somewhere in the world where there happens to be $5.32 lying there, your hand just like whoop, out of a portal grabs the $5.32 and then whoop right back in and just hands it, you know, like it finds the exact change somewhere in the universe, and that's where your hand just whoop, I got it.
I got worried. I thought you were about to say it would find that exact change, and then it would act almost like Mjolnir, and I would just reach in, and it would just fast travel and rip through anything and everything along
Just
the way.
goes through, just coins. All right, Daniel.
I don't know.
You came up with
Ask
the
question
game.
and you don't know.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of thought into the game. I did not put a lot of thought into what I would ask.
None of that surprises me.
Also, I doubt that very much that you put too much thought into this game.
Yeah.
There's like an entire subreddit devoted to this.
He put all of his available thought into the game.
Which is not much. I will say that my wish would be that our podcast for a 15-year period would become the most popular podcast in the world.
Yeah, the monkey paw is that it becomes the most listened to by hyper right-wing conservatives. 3 cis white males? Yes, that's how it would work. We turn into Joe Rogan.
Your flaw was just you said popular, and there's a lot of baggage that comes with that word.
Yeah, that's true.
Not well liked, not well loved, but popular.
Derided by many, some may say.
Some would say infamous.
See, but the problem is that's not realistic, because if it was truly hated that much, there's no way we would keep doing it. I know us too well. We would not be able to handle that level of criticism.
Yeah, or like death threats. Yeah.
It would not last. There's no way.
It does it because we all died. There we go. Full circle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And people just go back and listen to.
Yeah, it's like the
These
27
episodes over
Club,
and
but
over.
it's the
Well,
mid to
Dan
way
is
past
late
27.
30s and 40s
I can't even see
club.
27 in the rearview mirror anymore, buddy.
And in the next 14 years and 51 weeks, it's other people hosting your show that
Yeah,
all three of you just despise.
Oh,
That
and
is-
that would be super shitty because we wouldn't even get the proceeds from it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Steal your
gross.
name and rock it for a decade and a half.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well, here's to hoping.
Hello and welcome back to Bracketology. Shoot.
It's not like we've been doing this for 30 episodes or anything.
35.
35 episodes.
Bracketology, the podcast. Okay. All right. Hello and welcome back to Bracketology, the podcast that definitively decides all things tournament bracket style. I am the co-host, scripted to introduce himself first, Scott Grubb.
I have no script. No one has given it to me. Matt Robinson.
I never showed up for any of the script reads, and my name is Dan Default.
Guys, I don't know if you were listening while we were talking in the cold open, but there were points where there was a fourth voice. In fact, we actually responded to it a couple times. It was kind of scary.
It's not a ghost.
Who we got joining us, Matthew?
Well, we have one of the original Bracketeers who was the inspiration for Best Bob. We have
Round of
John.
applause, sir.
John Duncan joining us. Welcome, John.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
John, I don't think you understand how close you came to breaking up some friendships
Dude.
with that Bob bracket.
We still argue about SpongeBob and Bob Barker on a freaking weekly basis.
All
Dan
the
and I
time.
get into it. It gets brought up probably 2 to 3 times a week.
This pleases me. It absolutely does.
It has put a true strain on our relationship. I don't let my kids call him Uncle Dan anymore.
They called him Uncle Dan before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now he's just that guy with the nose.
it's true.
It's fair. My landlord's kids call me Matt Uncle.
Matt Uncle. All right.
That makes me laugh every time. Anyway, so we have John in the house. John is presenting us with a mini bracket. So the three of us don't know anything about this, and John is going to introduce it and then kind of, I was going to say
Walk us through.
Rochambeau, but that's not the right word. Direct it.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm talking so much. Stop.
It's because it's our podcast. All right. Anyway, John, we're all in the dark. What do you got for us?
All right, so today's mini bracket will be sticking with the theme of spoopy season, and to follow up the horror icon bracket, we are actually going to have
We have a nice transition here.
I did it wrong. I had to upload something, and now it doesn't work when I try to share it. But we are going to do a bracket of the modern horror writers and directors. So a lot of the creatures and spooks and ghosts and goblins that you've been talking about, we're going to talk about the masterminds that came up with some of those characters.
All right. All right.
Full disclosure, if Sam Raimi isn't on this list, I forfeit immediately.
Do you want me to share?
It was good working with you, Dan.
Yeah.
He was on the long list. He did not make the short list. So
That is a signed script of Army of Darkness. It is signed by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and several other people.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the Evil Dead franchise, but beyond that, he just didn't. I don't know. He explores too much in normal movies beyond that too. So I felt like he didn't quite fit into the modern masters of horror that we will be talking about today.
So I'm just gonna. I shared this. John shared the presentation with me, but I'm as in the dark as all of you, quote unquote. Okay. Ooh. So who do we have
Hmm.
to discuss?
All right, so our bracket is kind of broken down into the kind of the formation of the modern horror. So the top four are kind of living from the 70s, 80s, 90s realm, where we will start off with George Romero versus Tobe Hooper, followed up by John Carpenter versus Wes Craven. The bottom half of our bracket is going to be the folks a little bit more modern. So within the last 20-ish years or so. We have Jordan Peele versus Guillermo del Toro, and Rob Zombie versus James Wan.
I want to point out that the most terrifying and upsetting part of this entire bracket is the part where you said that we have a bunch from the 80s and 90s, and then you said more modern, like in the last 20 years.
I know it hurt
That
when I was
hurt.
thinking
That
about
hurt.
it.
That hurt. Like somewhere down here under my rib, like it just there was like a singe
near
all
your
of a sudden.
back
You
or
said
Yeah,
80s and
around your hip.
90s. Yeah, 80s and
Yeah.
90s, and then 20 years ago, so 70s, right?
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like my lower back area, right around where I got that tattoo in Cancun, and that hurt. Anyway,
The penis dolphin tattoo.
All right. So do we want to the penis dolphin? Do you want to like talk through any of these, or do we just kind of jump into it?
So
Say, yeah, I've got my notes for all of the brainchildren.
okay. Well,
Whichever.
I mean, let's get started. Let's just go from the top. I will say I'm glad you have notes because what Dan?
I
Put your
just
finger
want
down.
I want one clarification, guys. Are we just going off of their horror works? Because a lot of the directors on here have directed movies outside of the horror genre, and uh, like Rob Zombie, for example, has an extensive music career. So
He
is
does.
it just a little bit? Is it just the horror movies, or are we looking at their entire catalog of work?
Oh, Dan, I am glad that you asked because here are the rules for said bracket. It's not necessarily who made the best horror or who had the scariest horror, but we are going to be voting based on a scenario. And the scenario is that you will become a character in an actual, so basically, the powers that be give these folks freedom to create a reality that you are placed in. You will go into that reality knowing that yes, you will survive if you actually try to, but we are not voting on survivability. You're going to remember everything that you went through in this world that they put you in. And the voting will be so the yes vote to move someone on will be for the worst scenario you get put in or the scenario you truly least want to participate in. Does that make sense?
So basically, like most dreaded director's reality.
Correct.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So that's good. That's different. I like it. Again, getting us started. Now that we have some parameters set, unique ones. I'm glad you have notes. I don't know who Tobe Hooper is.
Really?
Truly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with him.
Say, do not worry. You will know some of his work, but we'll go ahead and hit Romero first, right? So, what do we know George Romero for?
All of the zombies.
Correct. So,
Look at his glasses.
Oh, I know. Isn't he beautiful?
Dude, he's like the Stan Lee of horror movies.
Yes.
Shows okay.
So George Romero, Night of the Living Dead, created the night of, the day of, the dawn of. He also did some other ones called The Crazies, if you've ever heard or seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
Creep Show came from this man, but he is most known for building up the he's kind of the I would call him the godfather of what we think of as the zombie worlds today.
He did Monkey Shines. I just listened to a podcast about Monkey Shines.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the nice guy up the street who grows tomatoes in his garden and then just comes and knocks on your door one Sunday morning with like a box of tomatoes and is like, "Here, I grew these."
This is for you.
Yeah. Thanks for being a neighbor. Okay.
And George is up against Tobe Hooper. What did he do, you ask? Well, he
definitely didn't kill your dog, and stop asking him about it.
no. But his creations did. His big ones were the original Poltergeist,
Mm-hmm.
and
Texas
I guess some
Chainsaw
might call it a
Massacre.
snub from the horror icons. He's the creator of Leatherface and did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
Based purely on how he looks, that's not surprising to me. But I mean, hey, I'm judging a book based on its leathery cover. It's human leather cover.
Wrong book, wrong movies.
That's
All
irrelevant.
right. Yeah.
All right.
Necronomicon. All right. So really what we're talking about is George A. Romero and Tobe Hooper. So if we're looking at the worlds that they would create, pretty easy assumption that George Romero's would be zombies, right? Hooper is a little bit more difficult because his two biggest horror movies are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you have one very scary, but very like real human dude with the chainsaw that's just crazy strong, but like peak human strength, right?
We talked
can't
about it. Inbred powers.
he can't run that fast. He's just one guy. But the other world is the Poltergeist, and that one is a little bit more terrifying because in that one, demons can possess you.
And a TV.
Yeah, they're here.
Well,
That's terrifying.
Look, here's the thing. In order for any of this scenario to work properly, I have to not be me. So, because I would die shitting myself.
I was
No,
thinking of
hold
you,
on.
Matt, when I was thinking of our rules, because yes, as long as you actually try, Matt, you will survive until whatever dawn you need to survive to.
But here's the thing, though. And maybe this is kind of thinking back to our opening here, kind of monkey pawing the situation a little bit. We're saying that we are in these creators' realities, right? In Tobe Hooper's, as long as I'm not in Dan's
Rural
backyard or rural Iowa, then I'm safe from Leatherface, right?
Oh
But-
no, like they get to pluck you and put you into their scenario.
Oh.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you would be where the party is.
Scott and I were kind of thinking along the same lines. I was like, as
Yeah,
long as I don't go into
Oh no.
BFE.
Okay.
All right. I think for the first round, and tell me what y'all's thoughts are. I think we should go pretty gut based because we
Yeah.
tend to
We have to move it
bloviate
along.
quite a
We got
bit when it
time.
comes to the first round. So for me, of these two, as terrifying as Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, I feel like the constant threat of zombies anywhere and everywhere is way higher. So I think I'm leaning towards George Romero being the most dreadful doomsday scenario.
I agree. The zombie apocalypse has so many more ramifications. Your family's likely impacted, people you know, friends, they've been impacted. Society as a whole is broken down, infrastructure's broken. Like there's so many more greater implications than just one of Dan's cousins with a chainsaw again.
I don't know why you got to make it personal. But outside of that, I agree with your decision because Look, Texas Chainsaw Massacre wouldn't be the world that I would fear the most because, again, it's just a dude. The one I would fear would be Poltergeist. Like having a demon that could possess you, that's terrifying. But if we know, based on this, that we're going to live to come back and be haunted by these memories, dude, the zombie apocalypse, way more scary. Like, if you watch somebody get eaten by a zombie horde in real life, that's awful.
And
Like,
Romero's
just imagine
zombies,
the sound.
weren't Romero's zombies the, like, not slow and shambling, but not sprinting like World War Z? Aren't they kind of just
pretty like quick and nimble?
Yeah, like they didn't lose all of their agility or anything. So yeah, that would be terrifying.
All right, John Carpenter, Wes Craven.
Okay, who are these people?
So John Carpenter, known for The Thing. John Carpenter did Halloween.
I do know that.
Yeah, he's got a wide range as well. He also did ones like The Fog. If you ever saw that one. He did
that wasn't an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
No, that was The
Mist.
The Mist.
Was that Mist?
Or
the Fog was the shipwreck. Fog takes over a town and the ghosts start
coming out.
Can't remember if they come out in like instant old people or whatever it was, but the fog kind of takes over the towns. He also did a terribly wonderful movie called Vampires in the 90s.
Are we really going to go through this and not bring up the fact that he also directed the jewel that is Escape from New York?
He did do the Escape movies as well.
I was going to say also Escape from L.A., which was the sequel, right?
And Big Trouble in Little China.
He did.
John Carpenter did all kinds of really good work. That's, again, why I asked the caveat of how we were voting.
Okay. Yes, so we got someone who can come up with the Body Snatcher, the unstoppable Michael Myers, and then on top of it, things like Ghosts and Fog and Vampires and Aliens you can only see when Roddy Piper's wearing the right glasses. So
I do still want to watch that movie at some point.
I have it on my DVR now.
Who's John Carpenter up against?
John Carpenter is up against Wes Craven. Two power franchises, Scream and Elm Street. And
Wes
then on
Craven
top
did
of that,
Scream?
Yeah. He did Scream. He did Nightmare on Elm Street. He also had his own backwoods version of The Hills Have Eyes.
Wait, he did The Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah, he did.
I was hoping we wouldn't talk about that because of the implied jokes that these assholes will make.
I could have used your name in that one, Dan, but I chose not to. I decided to let them sling that one at you.
He also did Vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy.
He did.
Wait, Wes Craven did?
Yeah, I'm looking him up right now. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. Right off the bat, I think my initial thought is to kind of go with Carpenter, but I think that's more because like he's better at branding himself as the creator of things. Like it's John Carpenter's The Thing. It's John Carpenter's Halloween. Wes Craven, I didn't know he did Scream or The Hills Have Eyes, or he did a version of Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dracula 2000.
Yeah.
I did know Wes Craven for those things, but
he did Wishmaster too.
I agree with John Carpenter primarily because of The Thing. Like really, Wes Craven created a couple different serial killer movies, and to be honest, we already live in realities with serial killers. I mean, that's a thing.
Are you forgetting about Nightmare on Elm Street with the guy that will kill you in your dreams?
Yeah, I know.
You
but
can't sleep or you die.
Dan, we have learned that Matt and Scott. Wait, no. I was on Team Scott for this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were actually on
I was
Scott's
very much on
for
Team
this.
Scott for this one.
Yeah, but for The Thing is again, we've talked about this in a couple of different brackets. The idea of that shape shifting and that inability to trust the person that's in front of you or beside you, that's terrifying to me. And so that's the reality that if I were plopped into that situation, I would want the least. So for me, it would be John Carpenter. He wins solely on that one reality for me.
So the fear of a Michael Myers becoming a thing, taking over your friends, and you're
there's also
survive the close quarters of that.
Yeah. I mean, look, Michael, you can't. We've talked about this before, again, with the icons. Michael Myers and Ghostface, you can't really separate them by that much. They're both murderous dudes running around with knives. One of them's a bit more immortal than the other, I guess, or just stronger. I don't know, but he doesn't get caught as often. But still, like they're kind of equated. But the Thing, man, that's what does it. Anyway, we got 2 votes.
No, I didn't vote yet.
Oh,
so I said I was leaning that way immediately.
Oh.
But Dan, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, I thought we were going gut.
100% Wes Craven. Like Wes Craven's worlds again. He did. I don't know if you all have seen it. I would be shocked if you did. The People Under the Stairs, which was a terrifying one. But for me, it all goes back to Freddy Krueger. Like that dude is terrifying. You cannot sleep or you die. And that's just awful. Wes Craven gets my vote. I would definitely not like to be in his world.
All right. Well, I will say, so looking up their catalogs of movies, on Google, Wes Craven movies, the last one listed is The Hills Have Thighs, and I want to watch that. But
what?
I do
privately.
Think,
you want to watch that privately.
No, as a group together. But I do think that I'm going to have to go with John Carpenter because of Michael Myers more than The Thing. I don't want that bitch chasing me. You can be disappointed twice, Dan.
Oh my God, you guys are so wrong.
And I will say, remember, it's not just that you're dealing with the characters they have created, but that they get to build a scenario just for you with kind of the knowing what they've done before.
Ugh, yeah.
You want to have
it's scary.
Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
no, thank you.
How do I watch The Hills Have Thighs? All right, who's next?
I can't believe that's a thing that exists.
John
There's
Carpenter
probably some states you're not allowed to watch that in anymore. All right. Oh shit balls. Jordan Peele.
Nope. Us.
Super new to
Get
them.
Out, and then he was also a part of the 2021 I think it was a sequel with Candyman, which I just watched. That was a really good one.
Okay. Versus.
Wait, is this really what he looks like?
Yeah, he looks nothing like you would expect him to look like.
Oh God, that's honestly more terrifying somehow.
He looks like the friendliest candy shop owner. Just don't go in the basement.
So Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
Versus Jordan Peele.
He looks like he really needs to get new prescription because those glasses have got to be giving him a tension headache. Look at how they are like pushed into the side of his head. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe that's just how he likes it. But yes, Guillermo del Toro. If you ever took Seth Rogen and George R. Martin and mashed them into one being, here he is. But that tension headache has spawned the likes of Pan's Labyrinth. He recently did the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and going back to one of the older cold opens, he has taken advantage of some of those assets that are now in public domain and created a twisted little Pinocchio movie as well.
He also did the fish fucking movie. So
yeah, Grinding Nemo.
Yeah. I don't know. This one I think is Dan makes himself laugh.
Yeah.
This one I think might be one of the more difficult ones because I won't watch Jordan Peele movies because his mind scares the shit out of me. Like as soon as I saw the trailer for Get Out, I'm good. And then Us, and I'm like, shape-shifting fucking doppelgangers, like I'm good. But Guillermo del Toro has got a fucking wicked imagination.
He also did Blade too, if that counts for anything.
I mean, not much considering his goal is to make a scenario in which we are absolutely terrified shitless. Blade, if Blade was real and I was just a guy in the club when it starts raining blood, I'm freaking out a little bit. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts, guys? Scott? You're on mute, Scott.
Yeah,
We're a
I know.
professional.
I know I was on mute. I know we're professional. That's why I muted myself, because I was typing, and I know my keyboard is loud because I was looking up a fact about these guys and I needed some information. Calm down. Anyway. I am not really at all intimidated by Guillermo del Toro's stuff. I just, he's never resonated with me that much. Jordan Peele, though, man, the things I've seen of his, he has changed the horror genre in the last few years, because he has made it so much more psychological. And man, like being in the realities that he creates, you would need some serious therapy should you survive after like that. That's some fucked up stuff. I don't want to play in Jordan Peele's mind.
And Scott just revealed he has officially understood the assignment. So
Yeah, no, I don't.
Daniel?
So I think you guys are sleeping on Pan's Labyrinth.
That is a creepy, that's some fucking weird imagination.
I didn't think it
Just
was that.
think
horror.
about. Do you remember the thing with the eyes on the hands and like that shit would be haunting. That being said, yeah, Get Out, fucking terrifying, dude. Like, imagine being a backseat driver in your own mind, not being able to control what you say or do. You're just forced to watch. That is terrifying. I know Jordan Peele is very new to this genre, but he came in like a wrecking ball. Jordan Peele is definitely the universe I do not want to be in.
Now I'm imagining Jordan Peele riding a wrecking ball
Like Miley
naked.
Cyrus.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said. All right. I mean, Jordan Peele definitely moves on in this one. I think there's something to be said about Jordan Peele's. It reminds me a little bit of like the Robin Williams-esque, right? The funniest people or the saddest people are the ones that are smiling the biggest. Like he feels like that, but for fear. Like the scariest people are the ones who constantly laugh, and it's terrifying.
Funny Jordan is the entertainer, but Jordan, the scary director, is him actually getting his art out.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's funny, like watching him on talk shows and stuff when he goes on to promote his movies, because he's still very genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
just that kind of person.
yeah, oh god, his movies. All right, anyway,
All
next
right.
one.
Next.
I mean,
Rob
can
Zombie.
can you find a picture that says I'm Rob Zombie, the director, any more than this?
That's fucking wild.
But yes, pretty upfront with his big hitters. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Lords of Salem. He also did the Halloween reboot a few years ago.
Oh wait, was that his, or did he do the one in the middle? I thought Carpenter did the most recent.
Like Carpenter did the original like Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween story.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie did not like Halloween Kills and Ends, but there were the two, just like part 1 and part 2, that Rob Zombie had control of.
That's the 2007 Halloween, I'm guessing.
I think it was like 07 and 09 or 07 and 11 or something like that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right, Rob Zombie, and he's going up against James Wan.
James Wan. This is the fella that came up with Saw,
Mhm.
that came up with the Insidious franchise, the Conjuring universe, and Megan.
So your favorite creepy dolls.
Look, I don't like dolls. They're creepy. And it's not even like that one. It's Insidious and fucking. It's the I don't know. I saw it too. Like the ideas that man has put into those movies. The hey, you have to cut into your own stomach to get the key out to take the head exploding thing off of your face. That's who thinks of that. That's creepy.
This guy does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie, I think, and I mean this nicely, I think he's a little unimaginative when it comes to some of the horror
What?
stuff.
I mean, I feel like he's taken established franchises and he's just made them Rob Zombie-ish. Like he's added his flair and personality to them, but
Yeah, but that's just his wife being cast in them.
So he has definitely a definitive style, but think about, and you probably haven't seen this movie either, House of a Thousand Corpses. Like walking in and being surrounded literally by artwork and furniture that are made from the people that this dude has killed. Like, well, the whole group of people. And just when you think it's safe, they're part of the killing group too. Like, that's pretty scary, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, and again, I'll just go back to it though. It feels like a lot of his stuff, because I've seen parts of House of a Thousand Corpses. I have.
he's all the non-scary parts.
Oh,
But the things that come to mind with that is that it's like a traveling trope, right? It's almost a bunch of carnies in a way. That's not new. Like, that's not very imaginative. Like, rebranding old movies, re-updating them, rebooting them. I don't know. To me, if I want to get tortured by a horror director, I want him to do it with style. I'm gonna go James Wan.
Yeah, the idea of like, I don't know, man, being at a bar grabbing a drink and the next thing you know you wake up and you're in a dingy basement and your dick is in a little miniature guillotine and the only way to get it out is to, like, I don't know, push a button that injures someone you love. Like, I don't know, I can't even get on the same level as this dude. He freaks me out more so than Rob Zombie. I'm gonna say James Wan as well. Dan, were you really gonna vote Rob Zombie? Were you feeling it that heavy?
I
Or
was
play
just
devil's
trying.
advocate?
I was trying to give Rob Zombie some flowers. That would be a terrible situation to be put in. But The Conjuring, dude, like,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
anything that is like fucking supernatural, you're fucked.
Well, in that one, you go through like different fucking universes, and there's like a whole upside down that you go into that's creepy and has nuns and shit in it.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's good.
Everything
not
about
even
that
just
is
paranormal,
awful.
but he, like, it's angry paranormal. He makes some angry paranormal.
Yeah.
All right. So that gets us through our first round then. I'm going to go back to where we can see all of them. So Romero versus Carpenter, and then Peele versus Wan for our next round.
All right.
Anything else that you want to add for these ones, John?
No, not right now. I think the first round kind of shaped up as I would have expected it to, and now I am excited to see where these four take us. So,
Did you agree with these chuckle fucks on John Carpenter over Wes Craven?
I agreed with 3 of the 4 that moved on.
Okay.
So which one did you? Which one did you not?
Oh, I absolutely do not want to live in a Wes Craven world. I do not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Knowing
Wes
that he's
Craven
got
is probably
Ghostface.
the worst.
Like Ghostface and Dream Powers, no, thank you. I would not want to partake in that one. So,
Do you really put Ghostface over Mike Myers? or are they equivalent?
I th- I think that I would, if you put me in a horror movie, obviously Mike Myers is hard because he is the unstoppable man in a jumpsuit that just keeps coming after you until he
Right.
blows up or something. The idea of Ghostface, I think, is scarier because it can be anyone. Whenever you kill one, there's another one coming to get you. Once that story's in line, it has that feeling of unrelenting, and it also has that fact that it's an actual person, not a almost mythical being coming after you that makes it scarier.
So because it's more like grounded in reality.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. But it didn't win anyway, so suck
He
it.
did
Let's
not.
move on.
He did not.
Welcome to the show.
we got 2 more rounds to get through, fellas. This episode's going to go long. George Romero versus John Carpenter.
So
What do you think?
I think I'd go back to just the sheer number of zombies that could be in a George Romero universe. Makes it puts it up towards the top of the terrifying level for me. John Carpenter, I do agree with you in a couple aspects, Scott, with the thing and the shape shifting aspect of stuff, but I don't know. I think Romero has figured out zombies in a way that none of us. It would not be a good time.
And I will remind you, it's not, you don't have to live in the zombie apocalypse forever. Each one of these, imagine it's a realistic scenario, a time frame for what they have done before. So hypothetically, dealing with the zombies, yes, it is going to be that, but you're going to experience it for what do most of his movies entail? What, a couple weeks or a couple
Maybe,
days with big action in them that you have to deal with. On the other end, the Carpenter movies, with The Thing, it's um, you have that group of people that are trapped, and it's how long does it take to figure it out, defeat the thing, or escape. And that's a scenario that we're going through. So we're not living the rest of our life in that existence, but dealing with just that one tailor-made scenario for you.
I don't know. Why y'all quiet?
So you're saying we're basically just living through the action of a 90-minute movie, not the extended parts of day-to-day reality in the universe.
well, it's however long the movie takes place. So that might be 90-minute movie, but it might span 2 weeks of time.
So it's which director would you not want to be the antagonist of their film?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
This actually, so that actually kind of does change when you put it that way, Scott. I think that changes my perspective because it would be dope as hell to be the survivor of a zombie apocalypse movie. What? I'm gonna survive.
Dude, think about the baggage that comes along with. You might survive, but everybody around you might become a not so happy meal for a horde of zombies, and you have to watch that happen.
Or they could be taken over by a body snatcher, and your last vision here on Earth is them murdering you, your loved one, killing you because they've been taken over by the thing. I mean,
so this is
Dan just expressed his understanding of the assignment.
Here's the thing about Scott and I. We take assignments and forget about them. So something kind of cool that I'm looking up a list of George Romero movies. He has a movie that came out in 1973 called Season of the Witch. Halloween 3 was called Season of the Witch, and that came out in 1982. That's just funny to me. That's interesting that they're going up against each other, John Carpenter and Romero. Anyway, I don't know. So what are you voting for, Dan? Are you voting for Romero?
I mean, yeah, I kind of do think Romero for me would be the worst because again, you would survive. That's granted and true in both of these stories, but you would have to live with what happened, and I can't imagine the PTSD that would come because you're not just watching somebody die, which is bad enough, but you're watching them be devoured slowly by zombies that are just tearing them apart. That is awful. Yeah,
Okay.
don't want to do it. George Romero gets my vote.
Scott?
I don't know. I mean, given that antagonist viewpoint, like again, John Carpenter is certainly terrifying, because now what we're talking about is I'm in some kind of scenario where people I know and care about could potentially be the bad guy just at any given moment. But the Romero reality, I mean, Dan's right. They could perish in a very traumatic way, painful and everything. And I think the part that puts, for me, Romero up higher is not necessarily that, but again, it's just the general implications, right? If there's a zombie outbreak, not only is it going to impact the people you care about, but it's going to impact a lot of people. And again, that damage to infrastructure, the way of life will be forever different after that. And that sounds like a terrible reality to live in. So I would also put Romero ahead.
All right. So Romero officially moves on. I'll throw my vote in towards George Romero as well, but mainly because I saw another movie that he did called O.J. Simpson, Juice is on the Loose, and it was made in 1974. It's a documentary about O.J. Simpson, and it makes me laugh.
The OJ when we still liked him.
Yeah.
Before the murders.
Before pre-murders, allegedly.
All right, so Romero moves on. Now we have Jordan Peele versus James Wan.
I'm not going to lie.
Sneaky
I've been looking
good.
forward to this one.
Yeah. This is a very tough competition because, again, Jordan Peele, I think, doesn't have nearly the body of horror movie work that Wan has. But holy shit, do his movies hit hard. And again, we talked about Get Out, like how awful that would be to be in the backseat of your own mind and have somebody else doing, saying, and being you without your control. Oh, man.
So I haven't seen Get Out. I thought Get Out was about a dude who like kidnapped a couple people and put them in his basement, and it was like racist and stuff.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Get Out was taking someone else's consciousness and putting them in the driver's seat of your body.
Yeah.
But there's still a part of you trapped in your body.
You're aware and present for all of it.
I think I know why I didn't see this movie.
I mean, again, though, your alternative is being put in the Conjuring universe. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You're in a very haunted house with a very angry ghost.
With a hole in the ground filled with needles that you have to jump into to get out of the ghost house or some shit. Like the Saw aspect of this cannot be understated.
No.
You want to talk about PTSD? I don't think there's a level currently associated with experiencing Saw PTSD. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would, and not trying to take away anything that people may have gone through, if you had to literally, to Scott's point earlier, guillotine your dickhead off in order to, that's something that will stay with you forever.
I mean,
or not stay with you forever.
Well, trust me, I'm putting that thing in my pocket. All right. They can reattach fingers. They can reattach dickheads.
You're coming with me.
Excuse me, sir. I made it out of your room. Can I have a cup of ice for this, please? But I don't know, man, because the Jordan Peele seems like his imagination, his ability to create a world to terrorize somebody would just be, it's too strong, even with the torture and the ghosts and shit like that. Like, Jordan Peele scares me. I think I'm going to have to go Jordan Peele on this. I think that I would hate that more.
Yeah, I am like, I get more anxious just thinking about the Jordan Peele reality and the mental anguish than I do the James Wan one. Because I mean, I know you say I'll be able to survive if I try.
I don't know how hard I'd try, depending on the situation.
Yeah, man, I think I
mean,
have to Jordan Peele. That I don't. It's just such a dark brain to want to not play in.
And technically, you're still surviving in Get Out. You're still alive. You're still surviving. You just don't control yourself.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Survival
Well,
means nothing
in the
Jordan Peele's
end,
movies.
like you would get yourself back. Like that is the thing is, if you go into a Jordan Peele movie and he get outs you, you would get your body back at the end, but you would have to live going through that hijack that you did go through.
yeah.
I don't like that. All right, so then that takes us into our finals, and I just want to throw this out there because, John, you found the perfect images because they're like the complete opposite of each other. George,
Well, they both have their spoopy glasses on.
yeah, but George's are black, and then
Big
Jordan's
thick black.
big thick black, and then Jordan's are clear. It is the whitest it can be, and it just makes me laugh. All right, George Romero, Jordan Peele.
Romero just looks like such a kindly old man, and Jordan Peele is looking into your soul to find out what scares you the most.
Yeah.
Knowing that is now coming to you.
God, I mean, I don't know. Y'all have to start this.
I understand how we got here.
I don't care if you disagree with it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. The big one, I actually would have voted for James Wan in the last one, but you didn't even ask me my vote, so screw you guys anyway. This matchup really becomes like the heavier baggage afterwards. And for me, I think that heavier baggage is still the Romero world because it's not, it's not the fact that people around you die. It is how they die and how you have to watch and the survivor's guilt that would come from that. You don't necessarily get that in the Jordan Peele world. Like, we've been talking about Get Out. It is absolutely terrifying. But in those movies, it's not like he's making that person go kill a whole bunch of people. Well, kind of take over their bodies. But really, it's just a bunch of rich old bastards that want to continue to live. And they do that by body snatching. Romero, on the other hand, is just sheer nonstop brutality. And that seems like a heavier burden to me to bear after surviving it.
Matt, what do you think? So, well, Dan, is that an official vote then?
Yep, Romero's my vote.
All right, Matthew.
I mean, I agree with you in a lot of points just because I think that Romero's, again, I go back to like, if we're being put into a brainchild of one of these or of these two, I think Romero's got all of his rules figured out in every way to be able to counter most. Oh my God. I know he was on mute and I appreciate that, but I saw just the tail end.
Oh my God, that sneeze was terrible.
Oh my God.
You should be thankful I got to that mute button. Holy cow. I'm still reverberating from that. My ear like itches now. Okay.
yeah, I think that the ability to have everything kind of figured out for and counter all of the tropes and all the things that you would try to do. I think Romero has that with his world building that he spent his career making. Jordan Peele is still very new to that, but I just see when I see the Get Out like title slide, and I see um,
Enjoy it for me.
when I see the Us cover on the DVD where it's just the creepy mask thing, like the idea of doppelgangers as a whole, that Jordan Peele has the ability to put terrifying things together. Like I hate Candyman. Like I didn't realize that he was involved in the recent Candyman remake, but that just reaffirms that I'll never watch it because it's scary.
It's so good though.
I think I got to go with Jordan Peele simply because I think the darkness that exists in that man's mind is darker than anything I could be a part of.
Damn. Oh, I'm really torn on this one because I agree with both of you, and it's in a way that is very even. So for me, I feel like the generalized world that I'm going to get with George Romero, Dan, you're right. Like that, it's going to be a very difficult experience with the the family, and I think of course you need to be putting in every effort you can to try and conserve your family and save them as well. Even if you're successful in that effort, again, like I said, the implications, the infrastructure, the impact, again, you got to think of how many millions of people that's going to impact, how that's going to damage things. I mean, we've lived through a pandemic that was nowhere near zombie level. Zombie level would be, I can't, who knows what life would be like after that. However, and that's what puts George Romero up for me. Jordan Peele, though, I feel like if he's going to take me and pick me up and put me in a scenario, as dark and as twisted as his mind is, whatever scenario he puts me in is going to be something that is specifically terrifying for me. Like, it is going to be crafted to target me. There will be snakes involved. My children will be specifically at risk. My wife will be specifically at risk.
Like they wouldn't be in a zombie world?
Yes, obviously in a zombie scenario, I guess they potentially would be as well. I mean, that's not necessarily guaranteed, right? He could put me in whatever environment he wants to put me in because his worlds are more open to that. Jordan Peele is going to be more personal in his attack with whatever he comes up with, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's the difference between a machete and a scalpel in a way, right?
Yes, 100%.
Also, can we coin the phrase Peelcraft?
You just did.
Man, and like really these two, like thinking about these two realities, like that's a tough thing to have to pick from. Like having an idea of what the Romero reality would look like, taking our previous experience and turning it up tenfold, hundredfold, I don't know, versus like the idea of Jordan Peele being able to personally torture me. Ah, man. I don't like that it came down to me.
Maybe you should have spoke up earlier.
I mean, I still don't know. I think the idea of being Jordan Peele's action figure is a bit more terrifying to me. I just think if I was a plaything, it would be terrifying to know what he would come up with for me. Jordan Peele freaks me out.
All right.
So yeah, Jordan Peele gets my vote as well. Dan's disgruntled.
Dan
Uh,
is disgruntled.
I'm not disgruntled. I'm disappointed. Like,
Eh.
It is always funny because I can always see it when it's coming on for Dan, because he like looks down and like shakes his head just a little bit, and he even slapped his knee at one point. Like these sons of bitches.
yeah.
But Jordan Peele, what are we calling this bracket, John? Dreadful.
Dreaded directors. Most dreaded director.
I like it.
There we go.
Jordan Peele is the most
John,
dreaded
so
director.
the question has to be asked. Do you agree with the bracket? I know that you had a problem with one of the people in the first round. I agreed with you on that.
He
Maybe
just really wants someone to agree with him. He's grasping so hard.
I will say that if I was in y'all's seat and I had to fill out my bracket just like you did, I believe that I would have had, because I think I would have had Wes Craven losing to Jordan Peele in the finals. I do believe that as scary as Romero's Zombieland is, I also believe that eventually in that scenario, a lot of us would just flip that switch, and the mad consumption of manwich happening all the time would just become everyday business, and eventually it's over.
There's a life finds a way element to it.
Like, oh, this is what it is now. We'll get through it and we'll be okay. And at the
Thank
end,
God
you go,
the Twinkies survived.
oh, gotta have Twinkies. But being trapped in a concoction from that man's mind scares me.
Like, I can't even imagine what Jordan Peele would do to me.
I know.
Like, I know what elements it would involve, but I don't know what he would do to them, and that's scary.
Mm-hmm. Like just his list, with Get Out, it was these people captured you and are now taking control of your body. The other ones, the doppelgangers that are coming to,
take your
end
life,
you and
literally.
take over. Like Candyman, that one, like you're living your life, things are going great, and all of a sudden this ghost being thing takes over you until you become that at the end, or do that to someone that, do that to your counterpart, your partner, whoever you're going through life with, and now all of a sudden that person is this being that everyone is afraid of. Like Jordan Peele's mind, when he's scary Jordan Peele, not funny Jordan Peele, I do not want to play in his sandbox.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right.
Big fan of this bracket, though. I liked
Yeah.
the scenario that came with the voting process. Gave us a unique way of looking at it. We're gonna have to take some notes. You set a new bar for us for future brackets. Thanks for adding that pressure to what we do on a week-to-week basis, John. Really appreciate having you here for that.
I'd also like
this is
to
awesome.
throw out at this point, and this is more confirmation for me when I go to sleep tonight. We're done with the spoopy for a while, right?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to say we are done with spoopy season. Next week we will start something a bit more wholesome and much more joyful as we approach the holiday season. We wanted to do something that wasn't necessarily holiday related. We feel like everyone falls into that trap a little bit, but we still want to bring the joy of this season, right? We want to make sure that we acknowledge the warm and fuzzy feeling that comes with this time of year. So we will be discussing in our next big format bracket, Best TV Mom. Going for the warm and fuzzies with this one, fellas. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
It's going to be a good bracket.
This is a lot more up my alley than being terrified every time I have to Google a picture.
Yeah. We will be including Mother from Psycho. No, I'm just kidding. So that's what we've got coming next. Again, we're entering some warm and fuzzy time frames, so that'll be what's coming up. What else we got this week, fellas? That's what's coming up. We got to thank some people, right?
Yeah.
No, No, okay. We'll thank
Yeah,
the listeners for checking in. What are we doing?
I don't know.
we got it. So thank you to the listeners. A big, again, thank you to John for bringing this ridiculously awesome bracket and giving us another chance to watch Matt squirm during spoopy season. We have to thank somebody for the music, whose name I can't remember.
Aaron O'Donnell from
Aaron
Aaron O'Donnell
O'Donnell
Music.
from Aaron O'Donnell's music. Thank you, bro. We appreciate it.
Everyone who's engaged with us in social media, please continue to do that. Please share our pages and like and subscribe and all those fun things. It helps out a ton. Yeah,
You'll see John in the comments because John
Yes.
has engaged with us.
that's
Yeah.
true. He lambasted us a couple times about poor decisions we've made.
Just a few.
Just a few, rightfully so. We've definitely finished brackets and been like, I don't know if we got that one right. Anyway,
It's mainly,
yeah.
these two co-hosts.
John, is there anything that you would like to plug or talk about before we wrap up?
I wish I did. But no, thanks for having me. It was fun.
You don't want to throw out like a Chiefs Kingdom or anything?
I mean, no.
He doesn't need to.
Okay.
I don't
All
need
right.
to.
Fair enough. Cool. Thanks for
need
coming
to.
by, John.
If you
We
want me to,
appreciate
I can show you my chief wall. I'll just use that as my plug. Yeah, look at all that glory going on over there.
I forced him
Championship
to take home
banners.
the Super Bowl banners from work.
He did, and now I have a place at work where I could put that one back up, but that would involve standing on chairs and tables, and I don't want to do that.
Generally frowned upon.
Yeah.
John, thanks again for coming. Appreciate all the work putting the bracket together. It was a fun one. As always, I've been the first co-host to introduce myself at the closing. Scott.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Dan.
Bye-bye.